Hello, my name is Emily Rice, and today I'm going to be showing you my presentation on Daoism, the way of flourishing. So how this presentation is going to work is there are going to be 3 parts, each with about a third of the presentation in each one of them, and then we're gonna go ahead and upload those to YouTube, and hopefully they don't, take like 30 million years, because sometimes that can happen, or hopefully not. So yeah, we're talking about Daoism today, one of the 8 major world religions outlined in Stephen Porphyro's book. I want to make a quick note about some of the pronunciations in this presentation. There are several words or phrases that can be pronounced a little bit of a different way, since Chinese and American English are really not that similar and have are just linguistically very different and phonetically very different. There can be some places where the pronunciation gets a little wonky, to if I may be so blunt. So if something gets mispronounced, I apologize. There's probably, everything I say, there's another way to kind of enunciate it. Real quick, I would like to thank my professor for allowing me to do this project and be very patient with me. And I would like to thank my Aunt Sara, who's behind the camera, for helping me film this. Thank you very much. All right, that all out of the way, let's get rolling. So, Daoism. We've got a couple important images, which we'll kind of be referencing back to throughout this presentation. The man in the top left-hand corner, I hope maybe it's mirrored, I'm not sure, it's fine. The gentleman, that is a man named Laozai. It's an artistic depiction of him. He's really important, just in what he added to religion. We'll talk about that later. On the other corner next to him is a yin-yang symbol, which, like yin-yang symbols, there's a lot of it around. You go to any Tao-Chi parlor, there's a whole book of ways you can do a yin-yang symbol. But I don't think Americans really understand what it is in relation to Daoism. It's a very different concept. On the bottom, we've got some Daoist art. It's older. And one thing to note is that it's got mountains, it's got a waterfall, it's got trees on it. No humans around, which is interesting. It's very natural, which we'll kind of circle back to later. And then on the far picture, we have got some people in modern China practicing Daoism, and they've got, you can see they've got obviously the priests up front, or people who are hosting this event, and then you've got, in the back, you've got watchers or practitioners, and interesting enough, you'll see that the people in front have obviously got their vestments, but in the back, people are dressed kind of commonly. I see one gentleman very clearly just kind of got a collared shirt and some business pants, so not really dressed up, just kind of common, which is interesting. We'll talk about that more later as we go on. So next slide. So population in the world. It's kind of hard to get a good count of how many Daoist practitioners there are in the world. Details we'll kind of talk about as time goes on. You can see in this picture, it's a little bit obviously this is a little bit outdated, my bad, because we know that Islam has quite a much bigger population now. Christianity is obviously kind of got the bigger chunk of the pie, and then you have Islam and Hinduism, but there's not any on the little pie chart that says Daoism. Why is that, Emily? I'm so glad you asked. Sorry. Why is that? So Daoism is classified as a Chinese traditional or sometimes a Chinese folk religion when you're talking about these pie charts. In China in the East, they have what they call the 3 teachings, which is Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism. And while Buddhism is big enough to have its own pie chart, some of the other more traditional religions are kind of just roped into Chinese traditional. So that's why that is like that. All right, next. Okay, population distribution in the world. Obviously, as this is an Eastern religion, we've got a big population of Daoist practitioners in China. There's actually quite a large population comparatively in Taiwan. There's a big kind of there's been kind of a Daoist renaissance over there, and it's become kind of bigger. In there's also big populations in Hong Kong, Korea, Japan, Singapore, Vietnam, and also in Australia and the United States, surprisingly. So if you ever, which kind of makes sense in some degree, you know, there's a lot of focus on nature in Australia, and there's a lot of focus on nature in Taoism, as we'll come to find out. So we're going to take a quick pause real quick so I can go quiet my dogs, and I will see you back in just a moment.